Well, good morning. Welcome back to Planet Doug. As you can see, I have my immigration shirt on, which means I'm heading to immigration to apply for my tourist visa extension. And I'm going to the immigration office here in the city of Padang. Got here yesterday after much misadventure. Yeah, never a day of fun and frolic when you have to go to immigration, but something you have to do, so trying to make the best of it. I feel like I've already gone down the wrong street. Or maybe not. So the route that I plotted, I mean, the immigration office is on a main street, and I could take the main street all the way there, but I can also go along the coast. It's about 8 kilometers to get there. So I'm gonna follow the coast road and hopefully pick up a little bit of scenery along the way. I haven't seen anything of the city yet. Make sure I'm heading in the right direction. I've only got one GoPro running. I have no chest harness today. I don't want to wear a camera into immigration, so I'm going to spin this GoPro around to show the road ahead of me. All right, here we go. I'm fairly certain I have all the right documents. You don't need a great deal for this. You need a copy of your passport, copy of your flight out of the country, copy of your passport page containing your Indonesian visa. I have a 30-day visa on arrival, which is extendable for 30 more days. And you need a copy of your hotel receipt where you're staying. So here's the famous mosque. It's one of the main attractions of Padang that everyone comes here to see. So my guest house, the Rumah Kita, is right beside the Masjid Al-Hakim. Very beautiful, as you can see. And it's unique. I don't know if it's unique or not, but it is special because it's right on the water. I don't know how many mosques. I guess there are a few that I've come across, but it makes it a special place to be sitting right on the water. And this is the beach, the oceanfront road of Padang. Looks very nice. Really nice. I have to say that when I arrived yesterday, I arrived in pouring rain, and all I was doing was riding through the busy main streets and trying to navigate my way. And the city didn't make a good impression on me. I just didn't see anything attractive about it, but right around the corner from my guest house, there's the ocean. So you can't get any more attractive than that. So my Rumah Kita hostel gets high marks for location, right beside the famous mosque, right on the ocean. This is very nice. I imagine there are a number of nice hotels along the waterfront here. Seems like a natural place to put a nice hotel. This is clearly a place to come for a walk early in the morning, or maybe sunset, I guess. It's probably a sunset viewing spot. Just gonna pull over just for a second. Show you what the coast looks like. There you have it. Rocky, waves coming in. Oh, something else at the guest house I didn't realize. When I went down to get the receipt, or to ask about getting a receipt at the front desk, I noticed that they had moved my scooter inside for me. So all the scooters belonging to guests, they offer this service because they have a big open area in the lobby. The guest house was built into an old house, so it wasn't really built as a hotel. And they left the main floor completely open. So, yeah, they have a lot of space in there. And that would keep my scooter safe from thieves. People seem very concerned about scooter theft here. Even up in the village, they warn me a lot about being careful where I park the scooter. They say that even in the village, people will steal your scooter. Wow, this looks like it's going to be a very nice town to hang out in. Any place with ocean front, fishing boats, it's always very interesting. A dog walker. See a lot of those here. By here, I mean in West Sumatra. Hunting dogs are a tradition of the Minangkabau people. And the immigration office, it's a class 1 immigration office, which is the highest level, I guess. They have like class 1, class 2, class 3, different scales in terms of the services they provide. Padang, by the way, is the capital city of the province. And I think it's quite a bit larger than Bukittinggi in terms of population, but I don't have the numbers at the tips of my fingers. But it feels bigger, feels more important. Bukittinggi has very much a regional, small town feeling. It's a large city, but it still feels relatively rural, you know, a countryside place. This feels like the big city. Big buildings, lots of open space, wider roads. Feels like a happening place. I do need to make a photocopy. So I think I'll stop here and make one copy. All right, just leaving from immigration. Very busy parking area. I barely have enough room for for cars. There's really no room at all. And for scooters, just barely. You really have to work to find a place to park. They got a lot of parking attendants sorting everybody out. So the good news is everything worked out. I will be getting my 30-day visa extension. Everything's all done except they have a bunch of stages. Every office in Sumatra is different, like every immigration office. They seem to have a lot of independence when it comes to the systems that they use and the the policies and procedures that they follow. So when I went to the Pekanbaru office, they did everything in, I think, 2 days. I showed up in the morning, I applied, and then they did what they call the biometrics, which means they take your picture and your fingerprints. They did that on the same day, and then I could come back the very next afternoon and pick up my passport with my visa extension stamp in it. That's how it worked at Pekanbaru. But here, they still have the old system where they need 5 business days to process. And the way it works is day 1, you fill out the application, then you pay the fee, 500,000, then you come in 2 days later to do the biometrics. So I have to come back on Friday, and then on Friday, they take my picture and take my fingerprints. And then after that, I have to come back next week, Tuesday, to get my passport back. So in fact, it's going to take, for me, it's taking, just because there's also a weekend involved. So for me, it's going to be a total of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 7 days, including the weekend. And of course, there were all kinds of quirks. Oh, where to start? Yeah, the hotel. I mean, when I was in Pekanbaru, they really wanted a receipt from my hotel, and it had to be very specific. It was like, if the application process was going to take 5 days, they said your hotel receipt had to cover all of those 5 days. You had to be staying at the same address the entire time. And it had to show the amount you paid, and it had to show the amount you paid in Indonesian rupiah. It was a very specific receipt they wanted. And then at Bukit Tinggi immigration office, they also wanted a receipt that covers the entire period of the application process. So you had to be staying at the same place. So here I was very serious about getting a receipt. I invested a lot of time. I even got an official handwritten receipt from the hotel, and I made sure to make copies of it. Has the address and phone number of the hotel, as official as I could possibly make it. And I proudly handed my receipt over to the immigration clerks here, along with all my other documents, and they just basically thrust it back at me. He says, no, we don't need this. And they pushed it across the counter. You can keep that. Like, what? I went to all that trouble to get you guys a receipt. And yeah, they didn't even want it. And of course, the big issue for me was the question of the sponsor. Because in Pekanbaru, they didn't require a sponsor of any kind. And of course, in Bukit Tinggi, they did require a sponsor. That they were very serious about that. So that's why I came to the Padang office, because I know that for a tourist visa extension, technically you're not supposed to get a sponsor. One is not required, according to the rules that I'm familiar with. So I was hoping that here in Padang, no sponsor would be required. But then something weird happened. And the first thing she said was, "You don't have a sponsor, do you?" It's like, it was a question. Like, you don't have a sponsor, do you? It was actually a question, but the tone was as a statement. You don't have a sponsor, do you? And I'm like, no. I mean, my question is, well, what does that mean? Do I need one? I thought, oh boy, here we go with the sponsor again. And this is going to turn into a big problem. So I didn't quite know what to say to her, because the question didn't make any sense to me. Either you need a sponsor or you don't. And she said to me, you don't have a sponsor, do you? And I didn't know how to answer that. I didn't want to get myself in trouble. But I basically said, no, I don't have a sponsor. And then that was the last I heard of it. And she gave me a form that I had never seen before. I'd never seen this at any office in Indonesia or Sumatra ever. And it seemed to be like a declaration in lieu of a sponsor. Like, if you don't have a sponsor, then you can fill out this form, sign it at the bottom, and in effect, you are your own sponsor. I mean, the whole thing was in Indonesian, so I couldn't really tell, but that was my take on it. So, you don't have a sponsor, do you? And I was like, no. Okay, then fill out this form. So clearly, I didn't need a sponsor. And yet, if I had a sponsor, they would have accepted. I have no idea. Anyway, in the end, I did not have to fill out, I did not have to get a sponsor. And there it is. Rumah kita. Rumah kita. And this is the outside of my hotel, right up there, the Rumah Kita. And there's the sign right there. I had to write that address down a lot this morning when I went to immigration. Boy, what a difference from Bukit Tinggi in terms of temperature. It is hot here. And the restaurant I was thinking about trying is over here, but with my luck, it'll probably be closed. A lot of places don't open until later in the day. But I thought it's just a short distance over here and find out if they're open or not. Oh yeah, it appears to be open. And it really caught my eye because of the... Hello, how are you? Makanan. So, yeah, nice little restaurant here. And they have a menu, which is nice. Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
Nice discovery. A restaurant like this right beside my hostel. That makes my life so much easier. It really does. My first night here, I arrived in a heavy, heavy rainstorm, and then it continued raining the entire afternoon and all through the night. So when I went out looking for dinner, it was pouring down rain still. It was really uncomfortable, and I just ended up at a neighborhood restaurant, not quite to my liking. So I'm really glad to find this place so I can see myself eating here at least once a day. And I ordered a new dish. Who knows, I could have had it before, but I would have forgotten. It's called Pempek Lenggang, which is a specialty from the city of Palembang. And I don't really know what it is yet. It involves some shrimp, and it's spicy and salty. But exactly what the rest of it is, I don't know. But I also ordered noodles, like chicken noodles, to round it out, and then a cold iced tea terek. So yeah, that's it. This is cool. The tea terek comes in a bag, has a straw already inserted, and it comes in a little bucket. Their own style. But there's the cooking area for all the dishes. And then they have more seating in the back over there. Very simple, kind of rustic place. Exactly my style. So I guess just to finish the story from immigration, I guess the way it stands now, I've already paid. And now I have to come back on Friday for biometrics, photo and fingerprints. And then I have to come back on Tuesday, and then I get my passport back. So it's going to be a total of 7 days. But it got more confusing because they mixed up Tuesday and Thursday. Because she said, okay, she kept trying to explain the process to me that you have to come back on Friday for biometrics, but then on Thursday, you can pick up your passport. So I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. We went around a few times. I said, okay, like on Thursday, I pick up my passport? Like, do you mean next week? And then she said no for some reason. No, not next week. I says, well, it just confused the heck out of me. I says, well, if I pick up my passport on Thursday, tomorrow, why do I have to come in on Friday to get biometrics done? And she says, no. You know, biometrics on Friday, then on Thursday you can pick up your passport. So like Thursday next week, and no. And then she said Thursday again. But it turns out the whole time she meant Tuesday. So today's Wednesday. I come back on Friday for biometrics, and then on Tuesday I can get my passport back. But she kept saying Thursday instead of Tuesday, and we got very, very confused, but we finally figured that all out. And they had one really interesting sign right above their window. It was sort of like a customer compensation, it said, like a customer satisfaction guarantee. And it said that if you, the customer of the Padang Immigration Class 1 office, if you do not get service that lives up to our standards, basically if you have a complaint and your complaint is justified about our poor service, then you get 4 things. You get, what do you get? A written apology, home delivery of your passport. They'll deliver it to your hotel. You will get priority service the next time you come to their office, and you will get a souvenir, like a gift. And that was their guarantee. You know, if your service does not live up to our standards and you have a complaint, you get all these things, you know, including a written apology and a free present. That was kind of funny. Tea is really nice, actually. Yeah, really nice. I see many more of those in my future. Oh. It's not the most comfortable chair in the world, but at least it does have a little bit of a backrest, and I got the wall here as well, so I'm pretty comfortable here. Food has started to arrive. Okay. So this is my Me I Am. Perfect, absolutely perfect. I just mean perfect for me because I'd like food to be simple and easy. And when you ask for, you know, chicken noodles, and you get chicken noodles with an egg on top and a nice bowl of a broth to go along with it, that makes me happy. The food came from the back, so I guess they have a kitchen at the back there. I think they make the drinks up here and the food in the back, so. Very salty. Tons of salt. I love it when they have simple touches like this, and they give you a little bowl of soup to go along with it. So the second half of my lunch has arrived. Forget what it's called now. Hempek Lengang, something like that. And not quite sure what's all involved here. It looked in the picture like there was egg, and I asked, there's a guy helping me out, and I asked him, oh, is there egg? And he said, no egg, but there is egg, and there's noodles. The noodles look like they came out of a package, which is very common in Indonesia. I find that so surprising. Places that are so concerned about, you know, good food, and yet most of the restaurants, if you order anything to do with noodles, you get noodles out of one of those little packages, like instant noodles. You know, it seems like if you're proud of your cuisine, you wouldn't be serving all your customers, you know, 1 minute instant noodles, but they do that here all the time. And what else is going on here? I don't really know. There's some sort of a, I have no idea what this is. Got a bunch of these. Could be like rice cake, kind of sweet. Yeah, it's kind of funny. When the guy who was helping me, like a Grab driver who was sitting outside, he was helping me. He spoke English and he was telling me about the food, and I asked him about this dish. And he told me what a lot of people tell me. He said it was he told me to be careful because it was really spicy, he said. And I get that warning a lot, and most of the time when I get that warning, it's not spicy at all, like nothing. This is more sweet than anything else. The broth It's kind of a brown broth. Yeah, it's more sweet. I would call it flavorful. It's a lot of flavor, but it's not spicy at all. So I don't know why people keep warning me about different dishes and telling me how spicy it is. So I'm not really sure what they mean by that. Maybe they mean to say just has a lot of flavor. I don't know, this is good. Tastes almost like a dessert because it's so sweet. But I've noticed that about the Indonesian palate. They seem to like sweet food. There's so much sugar in their diet. Except for these chicken noodles. They're actually really, really salty. And that is it for my morning small adventures. Successful trip to immigration. Of course, it's only the start. 7 more days until I'm done. And a semi-successful visit for lunch. I was pretty excited when I found that place. Kind of a cool neighborhood restaurant. But yeah, in the end, a lot of these meals that they serve, it's a sort of a coffee house in a way. The meals, I don't know, there's so much sugar in them. You know, I couldn't really have a meal like that every day. I mean, I had the tea Turek, which had a lot of sugar in it. And that meal, the special one from Palembang that I ordered, that was really, really sweet. It was more of a dessert than a meal. Just wasn't really a satisfying lunch. And I'm looking at the rest of their menu, and you know, they have nasi goreng, mee goreng. But again, the noodles, the mee is just going to be instant noodles again. All these restaurants, they just open up a package of instant noodles that you can get off the, you know, corner store shelf, and that's what they serve you as their noodles. So they're not really that good. But yeah, it's nice that it's there. I'll probably have a few meals there. But I'm going to spread my wings out a little bit and find other restaurants in this neighborhood. But for now, I got to get out of this sun. I got to duck inside and wait for the sun to get a little bit lower in the sky. So, here I am in Padang. Welcome to Padang. And see you in the next video.